What's going on, guys? In this video, I have a lot I want to talk about. We're going to talk about Bitcoin's recent breakout of a pattern here. We're also going to look at CleanSpark on the chart, and we do have earnings coming out tomorrow as of this upload. We're also going to go over Btbt or Bit Digital's mining update. We do have something to go over there that's a first for the company. And we're also going to talk about another stock, a semiconductor stock that has earnings coming up here in late February, and I do expect good things from it. So let's get started on this video, guys. If you like these videos, you know what to do. I definitely appreciate your support, and if you're interested in some stocks or cryptos, check out the links down below. And if you want to show your support, my membership is only $2 a month. And so first off, looking at Bitcoin, it seems like we're witnessing a breakout of this pennant, this kind of a sideways pattern, this choppy, tightening pattern. We just saw a breakout. Now, I would like to see a candle close above this pattern, so look out for that for the rest of the day. But Bitcoin's been heading in the right direction recently, and that's great. And as I've said in previous videos, if we can get a break above 44,000, I do think we'll rally from there, but it's a matter of breaking that 44,000 and not finding it as a resistance. But Bitcoin is looking pretty good. It's trying to regain this trend line. It has utilized this all the way since back in October, either as a resistance like here, as a support such as right here. But lately we've been kind of just bouncing in between it, so we'll see if the market reacts to us utilizing this as support once more. And I want to really quickly show you this before I move to the next thing, but you'll see that IBIT is now in the top 5 of all ETFs in terms of year-to-date inflow. And Fidelity's spot Bitcoin ETF was on that list as well, number 8. And also these Bitcoin spot ETFs had a 7-day handicap because they started on January 11th. Whereas these other US ETFs, of course, are being counted from January 1st. So that's very interesting. These spot Bitcoin ETFs are definitely making waves. These are definitely gaining the attention of the big money. And while inflows are starting to wind down a bit, outflows are starting to shrink as well. On February 6th, we saw its 6th successive day, that's a tongue twister, of shrinking outflows, $73 million in outflows of Grayscale's spot Bitcoin ETF. But inflows, while they are slowing up a little bit, these inflows from the other Bitcoin ETFs are now consistently outpacing the outflows from Grayscale's GBTC for about a full week now. But let's move on before this becomes an extremely long video. I want to show you guys CleanSpark next. We do have earnings coming out tomorrow as of this upload. So chart right now might not matter too much because tomorrow's catalyst earnings, it's either going to go good and we're going to see a decent rally, or it's going to go bad and we're going to retest some lower levels. But one thing we just saw in CleanSpark is we were facing this resistance for quite a while here, roughly a few weeks now, and we did recently break out of it. We also tested it as a support and bounced. Now what I still want to see for CleanSpark is a break of that 950. Otherwise, we may find it as a resistance, but it's going to be a very exciting day tomorrow. CleanSpark's expecting a record quarter where revenue is concerned, a $71 million quarter. I personally expect they're going to beat that. And my reasoning for that is CleanSpark reported earnings. Bitcoin was right around this 35,000 range. So they gave guidance likely based on that price range for Bitcoin. And throughout the last month of the quarter they're about to report, December, we saw Bitcoin absolutely break out starting at the beginning of December, where we went from roughly 38,000 in the beginning of December all the way to nearly 45,000 at the end of December. They should strengthen their revenue for the quarter they're about to report, and I do expect to see a revenue beat. So it's definitely going to be a very exciting day for CleanSpark, and stick around because I will be covering earnings when I get the chance. Now we also have another company reporting earnings. I feel like there's a very slept on stock, and instead of doing a separate video on it and probably getting hardly any views, I figured I'd lump it along in this video so you guys are more likely to watch it. But I really like Indi Semiconductor. They have an extremely experienced set of execs with literally decades of experience working together, and Indi did set their date for their 4th quarter earnings. It's going to be after market close on February 22, and being that it's the last quarter in this year, we'll see if the execs here follow through on their word. They did expect Indi to be break even by the end of this year, so we'll see in this earnings what we get there. But Indi Semiconductor is expecting a $72.5 million quarter for revenue, and let me just show you how consistent, extremely consistent their revenue growth is. Our previous quarter reported, they reported $60 million roughly. Quarter before that, 52 million. Quarter before that, 40 million. Quarter before that, 33 million. Before that, 30 million, then 25 million. Indi for the longest time has had extremely consistent revenue growth. They've made very wise acquisitions throughout 2021, 2022, and 2023. They've strengthened their suite of ADAS products. They've made wise acquisitions to get deeper into LiDAR. They work with the top tier auto manufacturers, supplying chips to them. And I do expect consistent revenue growth from here on out. But looking at the chart here, you'll see that Indi has been kind of range bound. Now on the way up, if we get towards $9, I think a break of 9 will accelerate this stock further. You can see it's been a resistance in the past. It's been a resistance back here. It's been a bouncing off point. We see an accelerated move up on a breakout. We see an accelerated move down on a breakdown. So 9 will be an important level to watch for Indie Semiconductor. Also, if we end up getting rough earnings, if Wall Street doesn't like Indie's earnings, there is a possibility we head lower, we bounce on the support level of this trend, of this pattern, and we potentially head down towards $5 before bouncing off in the high 4s, maybe at 5, at least going by this pattern. So basically, look for a breakout of $9. If we see that, we are probably accelerating further. And if earnings go bad and you really like this company, you want to add to it, while I do believe now is a great time to be adding, if we do get bad earnings towards the end of February, look to pick this up potentially in the 5s. But I do personally expect Indie to come out with good earnings. These execs tend to not disappoint, and I'm very excited for the long-term potential of this stock. Now, I also quickly want to touch on Btbt. They did just report their mining update, and I want to go over a couple of things here. We do have a first with the company here, but you'll see that they did decrease their production, which we have seen kind of across the board with the other miners. CleanSpark, for instance, saw a month-over-month decline in Bitcoin production. This is due to increased difficulty. All these miners are hustling really hard to get their machines online, and that is causing more difficulty across the board. But Btbt produced 145 Bitcoin, a 14% decrease compared to the last month. Their hash rate right now is 2.5 exahash, and you might be saying this is next to nothing. CleanSpark's 4 times the hash rate. Well, also CleanSpark's 8 times the market cap, so keep that in mind. And in terms of Bitcoin holdings, they're looking at 1,739 Bitcoin, or approximately $74 million. And current cash equivalents on hand are $22 million as of the end of January. They also staked slightly more ETH this month. It seems like what they're receiving as rewards for their Ethereum, they're going and staking as well in the following month. So we saw roughly 30 more Ethereum staked this month compared to the previous month. They continue to stake their Ethereum. They're going to continue building up their Ethereum with their staking rewards, and it's sort of a snowball effect. Not to mention Ethereum's eventual price increase, which I do expect for Ethereum. Also, we have a first from the company. They just made some money on AI. They made their first $1 million in revenue from their AI contract. And they now have 192 servers actively generating revenue from their Btbt AI contract. And they did mention in their last update, their December update, that they were setting this up. So that's exciting to see that they are getting some revenue from this. And we'll see how this grows over time. Now, looking at Btbt, we're dealing with quite a different looking chart here. We recently created new lows that we haven't seen since right around November of last year. And I'm hoping for a bounce soon. I'm hoping for some price appreciation soon. Otherwise, there's a potential that we could see a death cross. But so far, we haven't seen it yet. If we do see some more pain here, it is possible we can flash a death cross, and that could bring more fear. But so far, Btdigital's looking all right. We did see our golden cross here back in late December. Thanks to this nice run up, these moving averages still look decent. They are starting to get towards sideways, so we need to see a pop soon, get these heading back upwards, and keep these from crossing. But if you like Btdigital for the long term, I think it's a great add. I have been slowly adding to it here. We do have a really strong support at $2 that I personally would expect Btdigital wouldn't break. But if you want a Bitcoin miner that's heavily discounted, we're talking still 55% down roughly, I think Btdigital is a good pick. We should see their revenue ramp up for their AI. We should continue to see them stake more and more Ethereum, which means more and more rewards down the line. And hopefully they can continue building up their Bitcoin balance, because we know what's coming. The halving's coming only roughly 2 months away, and the rest of 2024 for Bitcoin should be very exciting. But let me know what you guys think about all this. I definitely recommend you guys look into Indie Semiconductor. I'm really looking forward to earnings for them. We also have CleanSpark earnings. This should be very exciting. And I think importantly, the call is going to talk about their expansion. For one, we have their 16 exahash expansion that should be coming online this month. And they're also going to talk about their 50 exahash goal. Some details on it, things to expect. But thanks as always for watching, guys. Let me know what else you're looking for out there. I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.